Hi everybody. I'm going to show you how to use what's called a spark timer to get some position and time data for these trucks and then make a position versus time graph and maybe a velocity versus time graph. So the first thing you need to do, you'll have this orange thing. It's called a spark timer. I'll show you how it works. There's two settings here. For the switch that's on the right, that needs to be pushed to the left. And it says 10Hz, which means 10 hertz. That's where you want it. So for this switch that's on the right side, push it to the left. That's 10Hz. Some of them, the markings are rubbed off, but it needs to be pushed to the left. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. And then we're going to take some of what's called the spark tape. You're going to get some of this spark tape and tape it to the truck and run it through. And this sparker is going to put a little mark on that piece of tape every 1/10 of a second. So you're going to need about a little more than a meter of this, because we want to measure a meter's worth of motion. So you need a meter's worth of tape plus probably that much to give it a little extra, just in case. So I'm going to measure out a meter. Whoops. I'm going to measure out a meter, and then I'm going to maybe go an extra, I don't know, 20 or 30 centimeters. Great. So this is probably 120 centimeters of tape. And what's going to happen is this tape needs to run through the spark timer, and it needs to run through curvy side down. So if I hold the tape and it curls under, that's what it needs to be. The curl under part, that's the bottom of it. So I'm going to run it through the tape machine like this. It says there's a little black arrow. That's where you put the tape in. And then it comes out the other side, I hope. There we go. Now, once I tape this to the truck, as the truck moves, the tape's going to get pulled through the timer. So I'm going to make sure there's nothing holding up the tape. We don't want it to get caught, right? And now I'm going to tape it to the truck. So I'll get a little piece of masking tape. Tape it to the truck like that. So that when the truck moves, it'll drag the tape through. Now I'm going to move this around so you can see what happens here. Let's see. Sorry, not the best film work ever. There we go. So I'm going to wind the truck up until it clicks once. Then I'm going to gently pull the tape. Now, looks like I got the tape taped on, or the tape on backwards. That wasn't good. Needs to be like this, huh? Well, great. Needs to be like that. Okay, it needs to be straight too. Maybe this would be easier if I taped it onto the top of the truck. I wonder if that'd be better. There we go. Okay. Try that again. There, it clicked. All right. So now when the truck goes forward, it's going to pull the tape through. So I think we're ready to do this. I'm going to turn the power on. Now it's making sparks, and here we go. Oh. Okay, let's see if that worked. Now I've got this piece of tape. Now, right at the beginning, there's a smudge. I should turn this off now. There we go. Whoop. Right at the beginning, there's a smudge. That's because that's before the truck started going. It was just sparking. Spark, 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 making a black smudge. But then as soon as I let it go, that's what I could probably call a time of 0. I can probably call this 0. And then there's the first dot, second dot, third dot. And look, you can see them getting farther apart. So you can tell it's accelerating. You can tell it's speeding up because the dots are getting farther apart. every one of those dots represents a tenth of a second. Or every set of dots represents a tenth of a second. And we're going to do the whole first meter of motion. So once we do that, that right there, I'd call the edge of that 0. I think. Yeah, we'll call that time 0, the smudge. The time for that dot's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 seconds, 0.4 seconds. You can make a position versus time data table and graph. All right, hope that helps.